Welcome back. How about if we take it back to the top stories? Just in case you're joining us, we're going to go to Georgia, where a woman's body was found at her job. Police believe her boyfriend is responsible for her murder. 34-year-old Courtney Owens was found dead on December 9th inside the Snellville car dealership where she was employed. She was shot by a man who was allegedly hired as a hitman by her ex-boyfriend and former business partner. The alleged gunman, 23-year-old Wesley Vickers, who was arrested about a month into the investigation, was hired by 41-year-old Stoney Williams, the ex-boyfriend, to kill Owens. Williams, who has not yet been detained by authorities, is being charged with malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. And an 8-year-old girl is being hailed as a hero after saving her great-grandmother who was trapped under a car. Mariah Galloway didn't hesitate when a rolling SUV pinned her great-grandmother down outside their home. Mariah was in the back seat at the time. She kept her cool and she knew exactly what to do. Thanks to that brave young girl, her great-grandma is recovering. Great ending to that story. All right, thousands of people are in shock after a magnitude 4.2 earthquake struck near Malibu in the Los Angeles area. That earthquake happened just before 2 a.m. Pacific time. After the initial quake, aftershocks followed. The first one was a magnitude of 3.5 and the second with a magnitude of 2.8, and the last one reported had a magnitude of 2.6. That's a rocky start to the morning. Fortunately, there are no reported injuries or damage. The earthquake was a rare phenomenon in the LA area, as they don't usually report earthquakes higher than a magnitude of 2. And lastly, all eyes remain on Florida as the governor is now being sued over the banning of a high school AP class. Attorney Ben Crump says he plans to file the lawsuit because Governor DeSantis rejected the AP African American Studies course. The State Department of Education says the course includes critical race theory, which is banned by state law. Crump has also announced a lawsuit against the state on behalf of 3 AP honors students over the state's decision to reject the new AP African American Studies course. Reporter live.
Thank you, Courtney. Now off to the family of Phi Beta Sigma. That's right. Chris Ray, international president of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, announces he's running for lieutenant governor of North Carolina. Ray made the announcement at a recent MLK breakfast, stating, quotes, "Today we're at a crossroads of freedom and equality." He said, although there is still hate and discrimination in the world, we can move forward if we come together as a state and as a nation.
The National Council of Negro Women, Inc. has announced Siobhan Arlene Bradley will serve as the organization's first president and chief executive officer. The organization also has a board of directors chair, Dr. A. Lewis Keith, who stated, quote, "We are excited to have hired Siobhan as our new president and CEO. She is an extraordinary communicator and her expertise in the areas of public health and social justice is impressive." That's the end of that quote. After 88 years, the organization changed its governance structure to work more efficiently. The council was founded back in 1935 by Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, an influential educator and activist. And for more than 50 years, the iconic Dr. Dorothy Height was president of NCNW.
A historic announcement at Howard University. Pentagon leaders announced yesterday a $90 million contract for research development with the university. The contract makes Howard the first HBCU to serve as a university-affiliated research center and the first to win a contract like this.
Howard's new research center will focus on tactical autonomy, and that's central to U.S. security in our changing world. Responsibly used autonomous systems make our military faster, smarter, and stronger.
The Air Force and Department of Defense Research Center will focus on tactical autonomy technology for military systems. The Pentagon currently has 14 university-affiliated research centers.
All right, so we're going to go back to Bethune-Cookman as students there are protesting the conditions of the campus after a former coach, Ed Reed, brought them to light in a viral rant he posted on his social media account before his job offer to be head coach of the HBCU's football team was rescinded. Fox 35 has the very latest.
Outside of Whitehall, students sat quietly in protest.
Our protest is not centered around Ed Reed. Our protest is centered around preserving the legacy that Dr. Bethune left for us.
They want to improve their lives and the lives of the students to follow them at Bethune-Cookman University.
Everybody always regurgitate the phrase, this is the HBCU lifestyle. However, where's the family? Where's the community? Where's the unity? Where's the building of tradition?
Students shared this email with Fox 35 sent from interim president Lawrence Drake. He applauds the students for raising their voice and says the school is conducting a complete review of their facilities. They say they have hired CTG Construction to assess, renovate, tear down, or construct new buildings on campus. They hope to have these repairs done by next school year, although the students say they've heard this all before.
We would like to see these same claims that he's making in person, in real time. If you're saying that you're walking around campus, where are you today?
NFL Hall of Famer Ed Reed was in the running for the head coaching job when he made comments criticizing the school's facilities. The students who shared images of mold growing on the walls, ceilings, and bedding felt he was right. Reed posted on Instagram in support of the students, telling them to keep going.
He did it out of anger, but he has that hunger for us to be better. So he's not a bad man, he's a good man, and I really hope that he can come back and they can reinstate him.
Dave Puglisi, Fox 35 News.
And that's right. We've talked a lot about this. You know, he did speak out of anger, but he spoke the truth.
Yes.
And it's really great to see these student activists, these student organizers really sort of taking that message and running with it. You know, those pictures that we saw are absolutely unacceptable. And, you know,
and very dangerous.
I'm sure the leadership of the university didn't appreciate being called out like that, but stuff like that does need to be called out. That is unacceptable. You got mold growing on bed sheets and on students' clothes. We can do better than that. I think the young woman was absolutely right. We can do better by the legacy of Mary McLeod Bethune, Dr. Bethune.
And why do we have to get to a point where it has to be called out? Where we are already on, you know, way left with the situation, no different from how the young people had to raise up at Howard, well respected, the Mecca, and their living conditions. I hope, you know, some of that 90 million is some coins left and they can make sure that that dormitory situation is still being addressed. But back here to Bethune-Cookman, you know, when that young lady says, you know, we've heard this before, you know, and no one in authority or no one who's been appointed or elected or whatever the case may be, there's no checks and balances. You know, as these young people have been promised, you know, these new conditions, you know, school year after school year, and nothing is being done. You know, Ed Reed might have went about it the wrong way, but he was absolutely correct in what he was feeling and what he was seeing, and for that, I get it.
It may be time for the alumni to start giving restricted funds that go straight to housing at these HBCUs.
Across the board,
Yeah, still ahead.
One popular music group is saying goodbye, you don't say.
That's right. We'll tell you which group is having a final tour in a new documentary. You're watching Fox Soul's Black Report.